guys, welcome to the Homestead. So I have said in videos past that you are going to see the day. You will see the day. You will see the day where you are paying $10,000 for a loaf of bread. So I've made that point. I've told you why I've made that point in videos past, but I want to show you exactly where we are now. Inflation is not over. It never stopped. It is coming back. We all know they lied about it throughout the whole COVID thing. Oh, the inflation's only 10%. Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the 1 gallon bottle of vinegar that I buy when I do my canning stuff went from like 98 cents to $5. That's not a 10% increase in inflation. You all know they were lying about that. Now, so the other day I was watching this clip, and this came out actually, is it 2 days ago, I think now, where you had Jerome Powell was answering a question from a journalist, and I'm going to play you that clip right now. But I just want to put this out here. You're not going to understand a word they're saying. Why? Because they're speaking in gobbledygook. And they do this on purpose. I mean, it is part of their industry. But if they actually said what I'm going to interpret for you at the end of the clip, the world would go haywire. At least more people would be more concerned. But the way the woman asked the question and the way he answered the question keeps everything, status quo. Again, you're not going to understand anything here in this clip. I will interpret it for you at the end. Here it is.
The rationale for cutting interest rates, even as inflation moves away from the 2% target, seems to be, that there are these mounting downside risks to the labor market. But if those don't materialize and the labor market either stabilizes around current employment levels or even starts to strengthen somewhat, how would that change your perception of how much interest rates need to fall from here? Would you then be a bit more concerned about underlying inflation and the possibility of second round effects from tariffs?
Yeah, I mean, in principle, if you were to see data that suggested that the labor market's strengthening or even that it's stabilizing, that would certainly play into our decisions going forward. So, we do have, we get some data. The labor market is a place where we get, for example, we get the state level data on initial claims, which are sending a sort of a signal of more of the same. We also get job openings. And we'll get lots of survey data. We'll get the Beige Book and things like that. So we'll have a picture of what's going on in the labor market. And the fact that we're not seeing an uptick in claims or a downtick really in openings suggests that you're seeing maybe continued very gradual cooling, but nothing more than that. So that does give you some comfort.
So what this journalist asked him was, if inflation is still going up, because it is, why are you cutting interest rates? And his answer? Well, the banks are in big trouble, and we're going to use the excuse that the job market's in trouble in order to cut interest rates. That's exactly what happened right there. Why are you cutting rates when inflation is going up? Because we know inflation went to 2%, don't you know? Didn't, but that's what they're saying. And now it's at 3%, don't you know? It's way more than that, but we're not going to go into that. And then he's saying the banks are in trouble. We're going to blame it on the job market in order to cut rates. Ladies and gentlemen, when you cut rates, that allows money to continue moving and going at higher velocities. And that's exactly what causes inflation. Inflation is only caused by one thing and one thing only: printing money. Money printing. It's the way it's been throughout all of human history. Anyone who tells you it's about the supply chain and price gouging at the supermarkets, that's a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's always been about too much money. When you have too much of something, it's worth less. When things are rare, they're worth more. That's basic economics. It always has been, always will be. Basic economics. Okay, so with that said, we are heading towards higher inflation. I was talking with a buddy of mine who lives in the area a while back. We were at a wedding or something, and I told him, I said, if the Fed really wants to stop this inflation, this was a couple years back, they're going to have to raise interest rates much higher than they are now. They're going to have to raise them up to like what Volcker did back in the 80s, which is like 20%. They're never going to do that because the banks would collapse. The banks are in serious trouble. They raised them like, 5%? The banks are in serious trouble. Now they're going to cut, which means they're going to bring back the inflation. And so this is something that has been, I told you this cake is baked. There's two reasons why you will see inflation. Number one, the money printing and the money spending. The Fed won't stop printing, and the Congress won't stop spending. And they're spending money that they don't have, We all know that. We just reached $38 trillion in debt. And no one hardly talked about it on the news. $38 trillion. It just passed not that long ago, a few days ago, it went over the $38 trillion. And it's already adding more to it. We're going to reach $39 trillion here pretty shortly. Probably within the next, maybe the first quarter of next year, if not sooner. So we're spending money like drunken sailors. And that always causes inflation. And we're doing everything we can, I'm talking about the government, to try to hide that. The reason we have so many people on EBTs right now is inflation. We don't have bread lines and soup lines of the 1920s. We have EBT. There's tons of bread and soup lines, but they're all on EBT. And I don't know what's going to happen come tomorrow, November 1st, but we'll all be paying attention and watching that show for sure. But the reality is we have too much money printing and too much money spending, and it's not going to stop. We're talking about heroin addicts who are addicted to that money printing and that money spending. Now, let's go ahead and show you another clip of a video of a guy in New York City who just bought 2 pizzas. Let's take a look.
In New York City, going to pick up our 2 pizza pies that we just ordered.
An arm and a leg.
Pick it up. Guess how much we're getting charged? I'm going to give you a second while we go pick these up to take a guess. We got 1 plain and we got 1 with spicy sausage. 2 pies, and by the way, they are just thin crust, normal size pizza pies for a Friday night. Guess how much we are about to pay for these 2 New York City pies. If you guessed $71, you would be correct. 2 regular frickin' size pies, sausage topping. We find out they charge $8 for sausage. Criminal. $71. As much as I like this pizza, I will never be back. I cannot afford $71 pizza. That is criminal.
2 medium pizzas for $71. There's no inflation. Everything's fine. $71 for 2 medium pizzas. That is we haven't seen. We're just getting started. We're in the first inning, guys. We're just getting started. We will see hyperinflation. It's going to come. It starts slowly first. It builds. It takes time, sometimes years to build. And man, when it gets going, there's no stopping it. So $71 for pizzas. I'm having pizza tonight. So tonight is Friday night. I usually make dinner for the family, and I'm making pizzas from scratch. I'm actually still harvesting tomatoes from my garden. I will be making fresh pizza sauce with those tomatoes in just a little bit. I'm going to get myself in the kitchen, and I'm going to be making fresh pizza sauce, and I'm going to be making the dough. I think a bag of dough costs like $5, or flour, $5 is I get the organic, whatever it is. And then I get, it's like $5 or $7, probably like $7 for the bag. And then I think I get turkey bacon. No jokes. I get turkey bacon. I like turkey bacon. I also like beef bacon, but that's way more expensive. It's like $13 for the pack, and you only get like 8 pieces in it. But the turkey bacon cost me $3. And the pizza sauce I'm making for free from my garden. And the onions I grew, the garlic I grew, and I may put some Japanese turnip leaves also on it for some greenery. And I think I have a small jar of olives that I'm going to put on there too. So, and that costs like a couple bucks. So, I mean, it's those pizzas. I'm going to make 2 large pizzas. These are big. I have the extra large pizza pans. I'll make 2 of those. And it's going to cost me like less than $10 to make it at home. And it's not going to take that long. I do it all the time. Make food at home. This is why I tell people when I've made lots of videos. Hey, how do you begin homesteading? What's the best way to start homesteading? Long before you start homesteading is the best way to start homesteading. And that is learning to cook at home. So what? You have a garden. So what? You have animals. You can raise chickens. You can raise sheep. You can raise goats. You can do all this stuff. What good is it if you can't do anything with it in the kitchen? If you don't know how? You hand somebody a piece of meat and they don't know how to prepare it, which happens a lot. You grow stuff out of your garden, but you don't know how to prepare it. You don't know what to do with it. What good is it? The way you start homesteading is start homesteading before you start homesteading. Learn to cook. The first thing you do if you want to get into homesteading is learn to cook. Because if you can't cook with raw ingredients, this guy from New York, do you think he knows how to make a pizza pie? No, he doesn't know how to make a pizza pie. It's why he's paying $71 for 2 medium pizzas. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment below. We are heading through some crazy times. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse. This cake is baked. So let me go into real quick some stuff I put on Patreon recently. I just put up a video of my tour of Grand Canyon. Me and the boys just got back. We spent like 4 days. I left on like a Wednesday morning, got back on a Sunday morning. It was a fantastic trip. And I even addressed some of the conspiracies, because every time I post about Grand Canyon, everyone was wanting to know, hey, well, did you see any of those off-limit areas in the Grand Canyon where the government says you can't go? Because the government's on a vacation right now, if you haven't heard. And I said, yeah, I got some thoughts on that, on the whole conspiracies. Now, I'm not saying I'm right on it, but I'm just giving you some of my thoughts. So I posted that video over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. Link is in the description below. But also, I want to share with you today, because I haven't shared with you in a while. I'm getting ready to make some more tinctures because we're getting a freeze coming up. And probably the most valuable tincture that I have lots of tinctures, and many of I've made myself. But the mullein tincture is probably the most favorite, because I think it's like it encompasses so many areas when it comes to health and sicknesses and things. So the mullein is probably my favorite. And I'm going to harvest some more mullein today and make a tincture of that. I have a bunch of vodka on the counter in there that I'm going to be using to make that tincture after I harvest the roots and the leaves. But I wanted to share with you today these books that I give away for free to all my patrons. Well, for free, for $1. You can join my Patreon for as little as $1. If you join at higher levels, I appreciate that. But for $1, ladies and gentlemen, I give you this book and this book, I'll talk about that in a second, on how or what to do with those tinctures. It doesn't tell you how to make a tincture, because that's easy. It's vodka and whatever you want to tincture. Simple, easy. Lots of videos show you how to do that. It tells you what to do with them. Why would you make a mullein tincture? Why would you make a dandelion tincture or an echinacea tincture? This is how you use it. This is my medicine cabinet right here. And do you know how much this book cost on Amazon today? I just looked it up. $450. This book right here. I'll put it on the screen. $450. This was written over 100 years ago. They're out of copyright. They're out of print. And I want to give you a copy of this right now over at patreon.com. You hit that link below. You join my Patreon for at least $1. You can join at higher levels. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You're supporting the channel. But I give you this download, a $450 download, $450 download for $1. It tells you, it's got full of color photos and all kinds of things, and tells you what to do with these tinctures, when to use them. That's the knowledge everybody wants. And then, get this. I checked the price of this one. This is the book that comes with it. It's a supplement. It tells you what to do with combinations of the tinctures, what they're good for. Guess how much this one's going for on Amazon today? $990. $990. You get both of them for $1 over at my Patreon page, patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. You're never going to find a better deal than that. Plus, I have all kinds of videos over there, chicken coop blueprints, butchering videos, all kinds of things that you're going to be able to learn from. I have ham radio communication videos over there, all kinds of stuff. Plus, you get the behind-the-scenes view of the homestead and lots of other stuff too. But for $1, just for these, what are you waiting for? If the world is going the way we all think it's going, and perhaps maybe one day you're not going to be able to find the kind of medical care that modern healthcare can provide, well then, why not do what people have been using for hundreds of years? People relied on this stuff, and it works. There's a reason why I tincture mullein, because it works. I've seen it over and over and over again. Earaches. I don't do the mullein oil, because I think oil goes rancid over a certain amount of time, but I just make the mullein tincture, and my kid gets the earache. You know, my youngest kid would get an earache, and I just put a drop of that in his ear. Cleared it right up. Stuff is valuable. Learn how to use it. It's got full color photos. You're going to save so much money by becoming a patron. And if you don't like staying a patron, you don't have to stay. You can, sign up for a year or sign up whatever for a month or whatever. Just pay your $1 and then go get your download. I highly recommend getting these printed out. Once you get your download, go somewhere and get them printed. And you even have on that page where you can get the download, down below that, a link to a company, a family who will print these for you. And once you sign up, they'll print them for you. And then you pay them for the printable if you can't find it somewhere cheaper. But get them, don't keep this on the cloud. Get it printed. All right, there's my public service announcement for the weekend. Hope you all have a great day. We just, like military, we used to do a safety brief. Our safety brief, our first sergeant would give us, don't do anything stupid. Dismissed. If you did something stupid, you were going to be standing before him and you'd hear about it. That wasn't a good day. But don't do anything stupid. All right, that's safety brief. See you next time on the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the Homestead that we make here on the Homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.